All righty, man. How's everybody doing tonight, man? We doing good. We doing good.
Yes, sir.
With this playoff time.
Playoff time, baby. Playoff time. So, I don't know if you guys know, but me and Cam have been trying to get a show off for the longest. We added a very, very good producer in HD, and then we added a very good, just kind of locker room guy in Coles. So a little bit of everything in here. We're just here to kind of bring some genuine, realistic stuff to the league. Moving forward, we're gonna do our best to stay on track, stay as consistent as can be, because I feel like our community deserves something as good as this, and we deserve to keep this. So, with that said, HD, go ahead and start us on the docket for the night. And again, man, welcome to the locker room.
All right. Well, as you can see, we're gonna be talking about the playoffs. We are taking your comments. Can be in Gen Chat. They could be on YouTube, preferably on YouTube, so they pop up on the screen. Um, that way, everyone can see what we're talking about rather than me just talking to the air. um, so we got the final bracket here. Advance was 15 minutes ago. In the AFC, we have the Chiefs at 1. Patriots won their division at 10-6 or 11-6, I believe. They're going to take on the Raiders at the 7. The Colts at 3. Bills at 6, and then the final matchup is the 4 Browns against the 5 Chargers. On the NFC side, Vikings at 1. 2 is the Cowboys. 7 is the Eagles. 3 is the Bucks. 6 Giants. The Seahawks at 4 and Lions at 5. We were already talking pre-show. We noticed every game here has been a regular season game besides the AFC 2-7 game. The Raiders and Pats did not play, but they all have a history here. So when we get there, we'll go into the regular season schedule and go check out that game. The only divisional game is the Cowboys Eagles. We will look at both of those, but I believe the Cowboys swept the Eagles. So they have that slight advantage, I think, mentally, right there. So we could start off. We'll go with the Patriots against the Raiders. Um, Beast, go ahead and start us off.
All righty, man. All righty. So, you're kind of looking at, two teams that are, in my opinion, picking up at the right time. Both these guys, one fought for the division, one fought to get back into the race, which is big. Great GMs, great coaches. I love what they're doing. And what injuries? Who's missing from either team right now? What's the biggest issues we see from these teams right now?
You got Kyle Duggar. He's essentially out until the Patriots have to make the AFC Champ game. It looks like to get Duggar back. And then Ramondre Stevenson is out 2 games. Those are only 2 notable guys. The rest are on IR. And then for the Raiders, we got Christian Wilkins, 89 D tackle. He's out for 3 weeks as well. Colton Miller, his left tackle is a 87. He's out for 2 weeks. Uh, Alexander Madison is no longer injured. He is on the IR though, so he can come off the IR. And even Zamir White, his other running back, has a broken collarbone. He's out for another week. And starting quarterback Max Duggan is out with a dislocated hip for 3 weeks.
Man, so you're looking at a lot of injuries here. And half the time the game comes down to availability. Um, so what do you think about this matchup, Cammy?
Well, I mean, the injuries, yeah, they suck, but I mean, I don't think they're as drastic as other teams in the playoffs missing players. But I think you know I think both teams are both very good teams who both have a couple inconsistencies throughout the regular season. Um, when it comes down to the playoffs, it's really going to be who's going to be better at controlling the ball. Controlling the time of possession, being able to limit turnovers, and I think both are good coaches at it. So it's hard to see who's going to pull it out. But I think I'm going to have to give Coach an advantage at it because he's been in this spot more than Nefarious has.
So we gotta give the slight nod to the Raiders, based off of the coach's pedigree. Coles, go ahead.
Um, I would give a short speech. I'm not gonna make it long. Um, we've been here before. We might have some injuries, but a coach like me, I've been in the playoffs multiple times, played Super Bowl teams, so I'm gonna have my guys prepared. We're gonna be out there, go out there to New England and play our best game, and hopefully we come out with the win.
Okay.
I would expect you would say. Go ahead, HD. What you got? What you got, producer?
So the Patriots are they're on a roll. I have the schedule up right now. They started 1-3. They got a little 2-game streak and then a little 2-game skid. But then we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in their last 9 games. The one loss is to the Colts, who are a playoff team. They're a team that won their division. What really stands out though is kind of the teams that they beat in this run. They beat the Bills twice in the last 3 games.
Wow.
So that's huge. The Bills were a super hot team coming out, 10-0, and then they found their struggle just a little bit. He beat the Chargers week 17, again a playoff team. They got the 5 seed. He lost to the Colts, which he kind of knew was going to be a struggle of a game, but these other games here, the Bears, the Rams, the Dolphins, they just knocked they kept the Jets out of the playoffs. The Cardinals, it's like he's beaten quality teams to get here. So, I do agree. The Raiders have the experience. They've been here before. The coach has been here before. But I think the way the Patriots are playing kind of gives them the edge more on a 4-game winning streak. They're at home. They played starters against the Bills. They played week 18 for the home game. And I think home field does kind of matter here. And you got the West Coast team coming to the East. It could be a snow game, but notable again, those last 3 games, those are playoff teams right there. Those are 3 really, really good wins. So I'm just kind of giving them a hot hand there. The QB missing for the Raiders really, really sucks. They got a little skid here where towards the end they went 4-3 or 3-4 to finish the year, 4-4. If you want to include since the bye. And again, they're missing their quarterback. So I think the Patriots, they just got the hot hand, and that's kind of where I'm headed here.
And so this was one of the matchups that we discussed as they really didn't play. They have no experience against each other.
Correct.
This season, correct?
Yep, correct. They did. This is the only matchup that did not play each other. So we have no expectations going in here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I did not make a pick, but I am going to go with the slight edge as far as the New England Patriots on this one. I just think with home field advantage and then the injuries, it's going to be a tough uphill battle for the for the Raiders. But nonetheless, it should be a good one. And if it's a snow game, that ain't going to do nothing to make things worse. So moving on though. What are we looking at?
Moving on, we got the number 6 Buffalo Bills going to the Colts. This is one of those matchups that we did see in the regular season. Just to kind of comment on what's going on, obviously with the usage and stuff, and 10-10. It is noticed. It's got to be noted. The Bills will be without Josh Allen this week. And they'll be without Kincaid as well. Obviously, Kincaid. And he does have he has that one more the one game from 2 weeks ago. Kincaid obviously is a huge factor, considering he was 30.12% of the receptions for that team, and Josh Allen. So one of his favorite tools. He's gonna miss 4 games. I think you gotta get to the Super Bowl to get him back, and then obviously Josh Allen being out 2 games is huge. But these guys did play before. The Colts, it's actually the last game the Bills won, week 10. They started 10-0, and they are on a 7-game skid. But they did beat the Colts 52-34. I think, did it say it was in Buffalo? Oh, this was in Indiana. So they went to Indy and beat them before.
So we've already seen this.
Yeah,
game.
we've literally
Okay.
seen this game already. Trubisky did play a little. He went 1 for 1 for 7 yards. Ty Johnson.
That's funny to you?
It's funny because he played.
Reel it in,
I mean,
fellas. Reel it in,
he
fellas.
played, man. Shakir was the top guy. Shakir and Kincaid were the top two guys here. So
which we will be missing. So
yeah,
that's a problem.
yeah, that's that. They were the recipe there to win. Obviously, 238 yards from Shakir and 2 touchdowns off 5 receptions. Kincaid 7 for 65. So we'll see Keon Coleman out there, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, Dawson Knox. Cammy, when we get to you, you can kind of tell us, what you kind of plan to do there. But Beast, go ahead and give your take on this game here.
So go ahead and show me. Okay, so Richardson must have been injured. That's what I'm looking at.
Did he get hurt this year?
He had to be injured. I mean, why would he only?
No, he played.
No, he played that game.
Oh, he threw 4 picks.
Okay.
He threw 4 picks, so he relieved him with Joe Flacco to kind of save the young fella.
To try to make it a little bit. So I mean, this is one that can go either way because we all have seen the flashes from the Buffalo Bills, but the thing about it, the downward trend has been dramatic for this club here. So I don't know if they can overcome missing so many people, having so many people out. I think it's just too much for them, especially going into Indy. It's not looking favorable. So I'm going to roll with the Colts on this one. Cammy, what you got?
I mean, we're out of Kincaid, Allen, Shakir, Von Miller, Matt Milano, Nicholas Morrow. So I mean, our whole team's gone. But
Wow.
I mean, I think it'll be a good game. I'm gonna have a lot of fun on that field. Gonna give it everything I got, and hopefully we can make it to the next round. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Codes?
Even with the injuries, you look at the positions. Of course, Josh Allen's a huge hit, but there were times where Trubisky would come in and he would actually play pretty well. Maybe a little bit less risky of an offense. He'd be a little bit more conservative at times. I believe he had a 2 touchdown, 0 INT game with a really good passer rating. If you can have a game like that, and like you saw in the previous matchup, Anthony Richardson threw 4 picks. So if he can play a perfect game with Trubisky and force Richardson to make mistakes again, anything can happen in the playoffs. So, and especially Kincaid, I think that's that's a tough blow. But at the same time, you have Dawson Knox as a backup, who is similar style to Kincaid. He's big, he's fast, he's pretty much a big receiver. So I think Cammy might be able to pull it out. He's had experience in the playoffs, and Coach CB's never been here before, so it's a first-time experience.
And the Colts.
And I think he can really pull it out. And the Colts Stadium is a dome, correct?
Yes. Lucas Oil is a dome.
Yeah, so you might not have to worry about the weather there. So I think Trubisky and those boys can pull it out.
Yeah. Even then, I mean, even if they were outside, it's the damn Buffalo Bills. they're known for having the worst weather. Just looking at this injury report, it's an uphill battle for you, Cammy, and the Bills. I mean, Von Miller, obviously, does he have abilities or no? Is he star?
No, he's star. But
Okay, he's still an 88.
He's still
obviously, obviously your outside linebacker, your middle linebacker. Kincaid actually is injured for the next 3 weeks, so even if you got to the Super Bowl, his suspension will go on till after he comes back from being injured. So his suspension really doesn't start until the Super Bowl. So Kincaid's completely out. He's literally a non-factor this postseason. Josh Allen is obviously huge. But if I remember before from way earlier in the season, obviously Trubisky got some garbage time, and I know you've commented. Yeah, I know you've commented before that you kind of feel like your offense runs a little better, and you coach a little better, and you play a little smarter. So maybe this is good for you. It's definitely going to be tough. I think you do have the roster over the Colts. They don't have any suspensions. They don't have any. They don't have any injuries, so just missing these guys here, on top of suspension, it's tough. But you went in there, you won before. I think that kind of, if you're Coach CB, I mean, you're kind of sitting there that that's in your head mentally. You're like, damn, this guy did come in here 6, 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, and they kicked our ass. We gotta come correct this time. This is a more meaningful game than that Week 10 game, and that's kind of where CB needs to be going into this game. Is we got to take this a lot more serious. Like Coach said, um, he's a coach that hasn't been here before. It's a different vibe. You've always hear people say the playoffs are different, and CB's either going to come out and kind of show that, or he's going to coach he's a hell of a coach. So he's either going to come in mentally and be ready, or not. With that being said, I do kind of give I think I'm going to give CB and the Colts the nod from me. I the Bills are just missing some key guys, man. That's tough. And most of them are defense. And from what I hear, just the video game aspect, the patch defense got a slightly harder. And if you're missing those guys, that's not good. So I'm gonna go with the Colts here. I give them the edge, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cammy and the Bills are able to get it rolling against the Colts once again.
Absolutely. What's next on the docket?
Next, we got the Chargers coming to Cleveland for a home game.
Don't smile so big, man. Don't smile
listen,
so big.
it's been a long time coming, man. It's been a long time coming. We did play in the regular season. Right now, I am missing Myles Garrett for this game.
Which is huge.
Yeah, David Njoku has been out for 6 games, I think now. So that that also kind of hurts me. We played earlier in the season. It was a really good game. I think we both played really well. I had a couple mistakes in there. This was week 9. He won 35-28. Yeah, as you can see, he beat me in the middle of the game. Second and third quarter, 13-15. I scored 14 in the fourth. I almost came back. Dorian Thompson-Robinson made mistakes, man. 53 rating, 1 touchdown, 4 picks. It was tough, but I will mention, Chubb was only here for half the game, so he only got 10 rushes. I mean, we had Njoku this game, and we won't have Miles, so it's gonna be a little tough. I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready for the Chargers to come in. I think it's gonna be a good game. Obviously, I respect JC a lot. He's got a Super Bowl. He's got plenty of playoff appearances, obviously from previous years. So we'll see what happens. We are playing as soon as we're done here, so that game will be right after the show.
Same with Colts and Bills. Just wanted to add that.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm gonna take myself here. But I expect this to be a really good game.
That one more time for me. It is one thing that I wanted to point out. So keep it right there.
Yep.
As you can see, the fact that this game was this close, based off Cleveland having 6 turnovers, like that's a really that tells a bigger issue. So I don't know if everything is meshing okay, or what's not going on with the coaching over. But it's a little. That's a big gap for it to be such a close game. So that is a little alarming. But as you said, you got a lot of guys out over there. So you're looking at, running a completely different team. I mean, based off of, just the matchup, I feel like the Browns really, really match up well against the Chargers. But, of course, it's always that. Is he going to give me the 4 quarters? Because, you'll give me the 2, you'll give me the 2.5, you'll give me 3, but you won't give me 4. So that's really, really what I would like to see, is to get a full game of, you actually bringing it, not 6 turnovers. Match them with 1. You never know. The game might be a little different. Saying all that, though, I will still go ahead and take Cleveland in this one. I just feel like the momentum is trending upwards. And it was just a really, really ugly game, the last game I watched from, the Chargers and some of the executions, as far as, they had an opportunity to keep a division foe out of the playoffs, and they couldn't come away with that one. So just based off of the way that I feel like the momentum is going for both coaches here, I'm going to go with the Browns on this one.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the key point to this game is Nick Chubb's not injured, right?
No. He's playing.
No, he's playing. Okay, Nick Chubb, I think is going to be the key factor because I think the interior of the Chargers D line is weaker, where on the outside is you got Bosa and Mack. I think if you're able to set the tone with Nick Chubb and playoff football and run that ball and just continuously wear down his defense and have long drives and make him wanna rush himself on offense, that the Browns have a good chance of winning this game. And I think you have the team to do that, and you have the user who can do that. It just all depends on what kind of patience HD brings to this game. And being his first playoff game in a while, I think he's going to be a little bit nervous, but I think he's going to be keyed in and locked and ready. So I'm excited to see what he does on offense. The key for the Chargers here is you got Justin Herbert. You got Quentin Johnson, who just led the league in receiving touchdowns, and you got a really strong run game. So I mean, you're gonna want to focus on getting that ball downfield, like no problem, and matching their run game, and also try not to score too quick because if you score too quick, you're just letting him tear the clock down and taking him out of the game, which might push his mistakes. Um, I think it'll be a highly competitive game. I think it'll be a close game. I'm gonna go Browns. I think Browns are gonna get their first playoff win in a while, and I think they're gonna shock some people here.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So next up, yeah, go and clear your throat, buddy. Next up, what we got?
I thought no talk.
I have a few key points here. One, both teams are losing out on elite rushers, edge rushers. Myles Garrett's gonna be out, but Joey Bosa will be out of this game as well. So
Didn't know that.
those are two big hits. And then another key point is the Browns are top 3 in rushing, and the Chargers rank 29th in run defense. In the playoffs, you do not want a bad run defense. And then the last key point is think about how long the Cleveland fans have wanted a playoff game and how hyped they are behind Coach HD. And that stadium is going to be rocking. It's going to be cold. The players from LA is going to have to go travel there. They just got defeated in overtime against a divisional rival. It's just all the momentum is on the Browns. Looking at it statistically, playoffs are where the run shows out. The Chargers are not good at stopping the run, and the Browns are really good at running the ball. I don't think it's a good mix, and I'm gonna go with the Browns.
Yeah, I just want to add on. Did you see that crazy Cleveland fan chugging 2 beers after the Browns made the playoffs?
Wow.
Hey, I do want to mention. I said this earlier in the chat, just to give the video game aspect here of the. Obviously, we're playing Madden. I did wish that they had. I'm completely saying this because I'm in the playoffs. I do wish that they had an aspect of the game where the Chargers got to come to Cleveland in January. Them LA boys are not fit for this weather, you know what I mean? So I do kind of wish there was an aspect there, like if you were going out of your comfort zone here, again with the indoor Raiders going to play the outdoor Patriots in New England and stuff like that. So just a little side comment there. Obviously, Hype Mike and the Chiefs are waiting. They get the lowest seed to win.
Very, very formidable foe there.
Yeah, so Hype Mike, I believe, right now, just quick around the room, since we are covering the AFC side real quick, before we move on to the NFC side, if we all agree Hype Mike's probably the favorite out the AFC with the Chiefs. If not, anyone speak up if you're taking anybody else. But right now, for me personally, my favorite is Hype Mike and the Chiefs. I'm not going to pick myself, obviously, I want myself to win, but if it's not me, it's Mike, I think, in my opinion.
I agree. I think Mike has been having a stellar season.
Mahomes did win MVP.
You can't really dispute it too much because hey man, you gave the guy a Ferrari to drive around. So hey, he driving it. So it's like at this point, it's kind of what we expected. We expected him to be here. We expected him to be number one. We expected him to be the one that anyone from the AFC had to go through. I do think we actually have some great defensive coaches over here that can kind of push them to the limit. But only time will tell on that, so.
Yeah, he does have 2 divisional matchups here. I played him a really good. We went to overtime in our game. Codes, as a divisional guy that played him twice, do Do you think, obviously, besides yourself, he's pretty much the favorite here? And before you go, I will say DMV Mark comments Neff is his favorite to win the AFC with the Patriots.
Whoa.
And again, before we jump too far, I didn't want to just come out and say that, but you have to look at what he's been doing. And he's kind of been moving at that SP rate. He's finally letting his defense do most of the work, which is how you have to do with that team and
Mm-hmm.
how it's built season one. So I mean, honestly, I feel like that's gonna be a hard out.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, he won what, not 8 of his last 9. I said with the Patriots. I will say something that he's commented on himself, and if you watch the Patriots, you notice he gets up early and takes his foot off the gas. He's playing to not lose instead of to win. He's ended up, obviously winning at that point, but he said himself, like, he feels himself slowing up, and he gives them a chance to come back. So back to the original question, Codes. How do you feel about us saying Hype Mike's probably the favorite, considering you've played him twice?
In my opinion, without being biased, I wouldn't really say there's a favorite in the AFC. I think we all have even chances on paper. You would think the Chiefs are the favorite, but the coach they just brought in, Hype Mike. There was a lot of times in the past where he was considered the favorite, and no disrespect, but it was a struggle in the playoffs at times.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
how many times are you gonna bet on him being the favorite to start to realize maybe there's a pattern there. So I think we're all favorites. I think it's an equal playing field, and I can't wait to see how it ends.
All right. Gonna head over to the NFC side. We got a divisional matchup. We've got the number 2 Cowboys, which we've said all season. At least I have. Others have agreed. Drama normally has a really, really good season 1. I think he's 11-6, taking the number 2 seed. The 1 seed was not in reach with how great the Vikings played. I think they went 15-2. I think they lost week 18 to the divisional Lions. And then we got the Eagles, who were in the lead for the NFC East for a while towards the back half of the season. I think the only reason he lost it was because he lost to the Cowboys. Obviously, they played twice, so I will pull that up. The Cowboys went 2-0, and I didn't see anybody missing, obviously, from suspensions. So we should have all teams. I'll pull up the injuries afterwards to see if we're missing anybody. So he won the first game at home, 56-39, and then he went to the Eagles week 17 and won 42-28. Which, in my opinion, kind of concerns me that he just came to your field and, he won by 2 scores pretty convincingly. And, you got to see him 2 weeks later on his home field now. Which, again, he won by 2 scores, 3 scores.
Yeah.
So.
And this is just, to me, this is more of an issue of, 2 cycles in a row, seeing a little bit of, the same guy too much and actually knowing what and how they want to play the game and where they want to go. I feel like Byrne really has the team to take advantage of this matchup. But again, the Cowboys have been a great GM at kind of assembling the Avengers, if you will. Like that Cowboys team is stacked. I think if any year this is going to be his best year, man, this here should be a good one. But it kind of concerns me looking at, hey man, he beat you here, he beat you there. I think it's just a little too much. The lights might be a little too bright for the Eagles in this matchup. And I'm looking at the Cowboys taking this one pretty easily.
Yeah, just to note, Cammy, before you head off, the Cowboys have won 8 of their last 9, just like the Patriots have. 2 of those games were against the Eagles.
Yeah, the lights could be too bright for these Eagles, but I mean, they did an amazing job this year making it to the playoffs. So a lot of people didn't have faith in that team, and he's playing in a tough division, and he almost won the division. So props to him. When it comes to light being too bright, I mean, these two coaches are kind of notorious for uh not playing their top game when the lights are too bright. So it'd be an interesting thing to watch. Both of them know each other well. They played with each other for a long time. Um, I think I really have been impressed with the Cowboys game. I've been watching a little bit of it. They're playing really good football, mistake-free football. I mean, there's some close games, but they know how to will out a win. And if you beat the Eagles by that 2 weeks before the playoffs, you're probably feeling pretty confident going into the game. So I got the Cowboys winning this game.
Alrighty, Coles, who you got, man?
They say one of the hardest things in football is to beat an opponent 3 times in the same season. But usually there's a close matchup here or there. You know what I'm saying? One of the 2 games they played in the regular season is usually close. But both of the games, it was kind of won by a large margin. But at the same time, like Cammy mentioned, Coach Drama sometimes, doesn't play his best when the lights are bright. And to me personally, I can't really say the same thing about Burn, but that could be because Burn's usually not in a spot where the lights are bright. So, I think I'd give the slight edge to Drama because, like we mentioned earlier, being in the playoffs and having that experience, it goes a long way. And Drama has plenty of experience in the playoffs, and hopefully he can pick up a win here.
Wrap us up, HD.
So I'm kind of gonna piggyback off what you said, Beast. Having these two in the same division, back-to-back years. So obviously these coaches know each other well. Which I'm actually kind of surprised. Burn and the Eagles lost by 3 scores the first game and 2 scores the second game, especially in Philly. I did expect slightly more from Burn. That Eagles roster is insane. And that's coming from someone that had the just as insane last year. This one's better. So I do hope he comes in and he did a little bit of homework. So the game, so obviously, so you can have some sort of advantage. Mentally, you're 0-2 going against this guy. You got to go to his field. The only thing that concerns me for these Cowboys, these last couple of games, now he did beat playoff teams. He beat, obviously, the Eagles. He lost to the Texans, which I think had 4 or 5 wins. He beat the Commanders, who were just outside. I think they were 1 seed outside the playoffs. He beat them twice. But, they're both 2-score games. But here, he beat the Giants by a touchdown. He beat the Bengals and Panthers, but by a combined score of 8. Those 2 teams have 2 of the 3 top picks in the draft. You struggling against those guys this late in the season, week 14 to 15, does kind of bring a little bit of concern for me. But then he did clean it up with playing the Bucks, the Eagles, and again the Commanders, who were 1 game from being in the playoffs. So my only concern is him playing like he played the Bengals and the Panthers, because I think he went in those games knowing he's gonna win. When you go in a game thinking I'm just gonna beat this guy, you play different.
Trust me, I know.
You're 2-0 against the Eagles. You're gonna come in there thinking I'm gonna beat this guy's ass. If he comes in sleeping, Burn has the team to roll you over. Burn can steal this game. With that being said, though, I don't think Drama's going to come in that way because of that. I think he'll have the mental edge. I think he'll be ready. I think this one, I think just because it's a person and because it's Burn, that's actually going to fire him up. I'm just hoping he comes in ready because, again, I think the Eagles can steal it. I am going to go with the Cowboys, though. I think this fire under his ass is lit enough that he'll want to come in here and definitely just dominate Burn. He's not going to come in, just kind of slacking, I guess I'll say, to give Burn a chance. So
absolutely. And then you made a real good point about the mental aspect of it, because it is like just knowing, like, man, I got to play this guy a third time. Like making the mental mistake of, and this is a big one that I think guys do. let me try to find a couple new plays that I know he hasn't seen. And that's where I think, that mental is going to get him because you can't go out. You got to trust the plays you got. You can't go out looking for new plays, just like you say, man, you gotta be ready to fight it in this sense.
Yep. So next game, number 3 Buccaneers. I believe he has Baker back. Baker missed a significant amount of time due to some on the field issues. Um, Against number 6 New York Giants, missing Daniel Jones this week and next week if they win. This is a game that they did play. The Giants won by 16. The difference, though, the Buccaneers did not have Baker or Rashad White. They were missing their top 2 playmakers, obviously your signal caller, and your running back at the time was suspended for usage. He was 30% of his catches. So obviously he plays a big role in the offense. He has him this time. And now
What do we have as far as the injuries?
the injuries for these guys, besides obviously Daniel Jones was the only known guy out for the Giants. We have for the Giants here, there they are. Nobody. Oh, sorry. Andrew Thomas, left tackle, 90 overall. He's out for just this week. The Buccaneers are missing Kate Otten, which I'm not sure if he's the starter or not. Yaya Diaby. He's out for 3 weeks. So, and his backup running back. So I mean, I don't know if Cade's the starter for him, but I mean, in my opinion, I don't think Yaya starts anyway. So I don't think you're missing too many pieces here, and you have obviously your 2 significant pieces back. I'm gonna pull up their game in the regular season. Even though they were missing guys,
was the starter of the first half, but then they elevated Devin Culp off the practice squad, and he's been the starter at tight end since then.
Okay, so let me pull up his. Let me pull this up here. Even though again the rosters are different, so it is what it is. He won 36-20. Daniel Jones 14 for 25.
Great game.
If you exclude the completion percentage, yeah. You got to clean that up if you want to, be. I mean, at least I guess that doesn't matter now for Daniel Jones.
Daniel's not going to be in this game.
Yeah, it doesn't matter now. But it looks like that.
Rushes.
Yeah, that hurt. This is a 10-10 game. It looks like he only rushed 5 times, so that could have been a thing for the Buccaneers losing. He didn't run the ball, so
he turned the ball over a ton too.
Turned it over a ton. Okay, and then just
Jordan Travis is no longer in that roster.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jordan Travis isn't on the roster, so his stats don't show up this game.
There we go.
He did throw a bunch of picks. I did watch this game. He did turn the ball over a lot with Jordan Travis. But we can at least have the box score here. So we got that.
Travis is in the free agency.
6 turnovers.
Yeah, he picked them up in free agency. Okay, so just looking at this matchup here, the Giants have been known to have a stout defense. Looking at the turnovers, I mean, that's all you really need to look at to tell the tale. And this one's a little kind of the same we just looked at. You got 1 turnover to 6, but the score shows a little more to that than usual. So that's promising. Looking at this game, though, I don't really see much of it changing if the Bucs don't get on that ground. You can't really just airmail everything against such a good defensive coach. And the Giants, I feel like the defense is just too strong over there. I've watched plenty of film on this guy, and just looking at what he does defensively, hey man, it had me questioning, like, man, can you give me a couple tips? So very, very good defensive coach. And then I felt like, I don't know if the Bucs have enough. I don't think they have enough of the gotcha plays that he's going to need to get in order to win this game. I am going to take the Giants, and I want to say it's gonna be a close one, man. Like I don't see it being out of control because come on, man, you 6 turnovers isn't sustainable. It's a bigger stage. The lights are on. This guy's not gonna come out here and just throw all over the field. He's gonna be um, a lot more settled, a lot more cautious. So I could see a close, low scoring game here. It can be a defensive matchup for sure. The Bucks roster is good, but I just don't see them overcoming that coaching gap, that GM gap that they have going on. What do you think about this one, Cameron?
I think the Bucks had a great season, and I know the last time they came, they didn't have their starting quarterback, and now it's going to be kind of like opposite effects this time, where the Giants won't have their starting quarterback. The Giants are a very good defensive team. Um, I think one of the major problems with the Giants is sometimes their offense is lackluster, and they get in situations where they can't get moving down the field. And without Danny Jones, I wonder if that's going to cause a problem, or if it's going to help free up his playbook a little bit more. Maybe Daniel Jones was the problem all along. It would be cool to find out in this game. Um, I think uh, Buccaneers having a more healthy roster and a more, being able to get most of their 53 onto the field is going to be have a lot of meaning for them. And you got to remember, they're the only team, or one of the only teams, or two teams that beat the Kansas City Chiefs this year, and they beat them in a convincing way. So I got the Bucks winning this game. I don't think they're a team you can play with, and when you don't have your starting quarterback, I think it just puts you in a hole to start with already, mentally at least.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Coach Codes.
I think the only way that Casper loses the game is if he underestimates Coach Hefe, or something crazy like an injury happens. The ball's really in his court. Hefe, I think he has Coach Hefe. I think he has a great pass defense, but when it comes to the run, the Giants finished 30th in run defense, which is not good in the playoffs. And we've seen Coach Casper, whenever he wants to, whenever he plays a really good team or a coach with a lot of pedigree, he tends to play more carefully. He runs the ball a lot more. Look at Rachaad White's numbers. Before he had those off the field troubles, I think he led the league in receiving at some point, or receptions, like one of those crazy stats. I think he'll rely heavily on Rachaad and Fournette, and everyone knows about playoff Lenny. So I think this is really the Bucks' games to win.
Yeah.
Okay, DJHD, take us away.
So yeah, roles are flipped, man. Baker's a hell of a quarterback. I'm a huge fan of him. He had a great year. It started off really it started off like a bittersweet type deal, because he led in passing and touchdowns, but he also led in picks at one point, which I believe he cleaned up. I don't think he's up there anymore. And you know what? Honestly, I'm looking at this. Drew Lock's going to be the quarterback for the Giants. He's
So I would like to point out real quick, if you notice the speed difference.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not really going to be able to just pull that ball down and go, but he has just a little more wiggle. The change of directions is just slightly better. So I wonder if that's kind of going to throw him off a little bit.
He's got a little bit more throw power too.
Yeah,
he might be
so
more accurate in the pocket.
Well, more accurate, I don't think so. Daniel Jones has 10 more short accuracy, 10 more medium, and 6 more deep accuracy. Throw under pressure is a 74 for Drew Lock, so he can play. If you play football and you're patient and consistent, Drew Lock can win you this football game. But I think mentally it fucks with you. You're like, damn, I don't have my starter. I gotta play different. Do not play different. Hefe, play your game. Take the Giants out there and play New York Giant football. Do what you did when you played him earlier in the season. The stats aren't the same, but he's manageable. He's good enough. You can go in there and win this game. another thing that kind of no one's pointed out, Casper might have won 10, 11 games, but this is his first time here. He's been here 3 seasons now, 2.5. This is his first playoff game. He's never been here before. The lights are bright. Baker's here now. Obviously, Jordan Travis, when he used him, had like 83 throw power and a bunch of poopy accuracies. Baker, 94, 95, 90, 88, 88, 87. This guy, again, huge fan of Baker, bro. He's killing it. He had a great year. He's got White this game, too. He's got boosted morale. He's a lot better than the guys he had before. Bucky Irving hopefully gets a little involved. I know he's got some fumbling issues in the year, but I expect White, Irving, Foreman, and Leonard Fournette to all touch the ball this game, whether it be in the air, on the ground, it doesn't matter. But like Beast was saying, you're playing a good defensive team. Casper, go out there and do what won you 10, 11 games. Go out there and do what beat Hype Mike and the Chiefs, the number 1 seed in the AFC. If he goes out here and ignores everything, ignore the game, the magnitude of the game, ignore all that and just go out there and play how you played all year, you can go in there and based on chat, Hefe already told him GG. He already told him GG. That's a terrible, terrible mindset to go into this game. And I think Codes, if he comes in hard and fast, he can take advantage of, the Giants early and get it moving. So with that, I'm going to take the Bucks. I know he predicted them winning by 14 in the regular season before the suspensions. I think now's the game where he beats him by 14.
You'll love to see. You'll love to see it just so, everybody wants to get that lick back. Everybody is in human nature, to always get that lick back. So that'll be cherry on the top of the season, I think, and take it out.
This will be that. This is that. Everyone talks about get it back in blood. This is that moment. This is your chance. So, speaking of get it back in blood, another regular season matchup. The Seahawks host the Detroit Lions, who were one game that he lost week 17 out of winning the number 1 seed. I believe he had the I think he tied for the second best record this season at 14-3. Right, behind his division foe, the Vikings, who went, they only had 2 losses. So this game before in the regular season, if I remember, as I go to it, they played in the regular season, and from what I remember, the Lions were pretty dominant to begin. And then the Seahawks ended up coming back and taking the lead in the third quarter, I believe, or the end of the third quarter. And then the Lions were able to finish it out. This game was week 4, so it was a while ago, 34-38. Everybody's got their players from what I know of. Jared Goff went 23 for 28, 82%, 4 touchdowns, no picks. 483 yards. Jameson Williams, 4 for 225 and 3 touchdowns. The kid's a freak.
Wow.
The kid's a freak, man. I know you got Tariq Woolen, but back him up still. you gotta get over the top of this guy. Safety help, it don't matter. You gotta get help on this guy. So you gotta put a lock on J-Mo. Finn and the Lions, just keep playing how you're playing, man. They had a phenomenal season. His first year back in 3-4 years. He's been really, really good. So Beast, go ahead.
Looking like.
What do you want?
Go ahead and pull the injuries up for me. Do we have anybody out?
The injuries. Okay.
There's one thing I think HG forgot to mention. Kenneth Walker will not be playing this game.
Wow.
10-10 roll right from week 16, 17?
It was
I did not remember that correct.
I believe it was week 17.
All right, so we'll start with the Lions first. He's missing. He could bring Mosley back off of IR, but his kicker is injured for the Lions. I don't know how. That's the second kicker to get hurt. unless he was already hurt.
How do you
He
how do you
tore-
get a kicker?
Hamstring
He
thing.
How do you
tore.
get a
he-
hamstring tear on a
He's
kicker? Who's
bro.
targeting him?
He's the kicker. What do you mean? He kicked the ball and got a
That's just
hamstring. So that's
Bro,
tough for
that's
the
insane.
Lions. I am curious. Fins around when that happened. If it was preseason or if that actually happened. And then the Seahawks here. Devin Witherspoon, so again, a corner is out for 3 weeks, a guy that we were talking about. You need a corner out there. 2 of them, 3 of them, I don't care. Go stop Jameson Williams. He's missing his second corner there. Devin Witherspoon's a dog. That really sucks to not have him out there.
Yeah.
But outside of that, that's it. And Kenneth Walker, obviously. Kenneth Walker, I'm going to pull him up in
He's
game.
insane.
Man,
He had a hell of a season,
so
man.
good.
It sucks that we're not going to see him for this matchup. The kid
And
the kid went
I
stupid.
actually, I faced off against the Seahawks, and he utilizes Kenneth amazingly as far
He's
as,
so good.
bro, it's terrible.
So-
He'll throw to him. The yak is crazy. The run game is wild with him. Like he's a stud, man. He's a stud. He really is.
Real quick, rushing 314 attempts, 1,800 yards, and 25 touchdowns. 63 catches, 650 yards, and 8 touchdowns. I believe he came in second because he was suspended for 10-10. He came in second in MVP behind Patrick Mahomes, I believe. I'm pretty sure if he played that Week 18 game, he probably would have won it. Couple more touchdowns, he probably would have won it. So,
Who are we looking at as the backup?
Zach Charbonnet.
Okay.
There-
So big drop off.
Six speed difference for both running backs. Even if he goes with Henderson, 88 speed, 92 excel. So I mean that's the only difference. But honestly, my professional opinion, you're not gonna see the run game that you've seen in the regular season. And
No.
honestly, I don't even think he's gonna come out with the same game plan. I think he's gonna put the ball in Sam Howell's hand. I
At this
just
point you have to.
I mean, shit. Those running backs it's not a plug and play, man. And if you have Sam Howell, and the ball in his hands a bunch, just make sure you come and you're careful.
I'm a little interested on why he hasn't been using Geno with 89 speed. That seems to be a little dangerous. On why wouldn't you be using this guy?
I think Gino has been. I don't know. I
He
think
had a
he's
good
games. He
60.
just gets injured or something.
I mean, 11
Has to be injured,
11
because he played.
touchdowns, 2
He
picks.
played amazing.
11 touchdowns, 2 picks, 67%. I mean, I don't.
That's a little puzzling.
He
there.
hasn't
Yeah, so he
played
got-
1, 2, 6, 7, and that was it. He's
Maybe
only,
he doesn't see a future with the Gino. And
Yeah, he'd
just
rather
a younger guy.
build Sam Howell. Sam Howell does have the tag
He's
in game.
23.
He's got QB of the future tag, and his throw power is a 92. Accuracies 93 short, 87 mid, 82 deep. So his accuracies are a little better. Throw power is better. He's younger. I said before on a previous show that you build Sam Howell. This is your guy. You don't need to draft one. You don't need to trade. Sam Howell's your guy.
I think specifically for this matchup, I feel like you have to put Geno in because you have to give
You have to have some
this
run.
great defense something to think about. You have to. You don't have Walker in. You have to give him something that, hey, if you're not gonna honor, my actual run game, at least let me make you do a couple quarterback spots. Let me kind of kill some coverage a little bit, taking away a cover guy because now you're looking at my quarterback. Like you got to do something different because this line's defense is nasty, man. Everybody's heard of it. I believe top 5. So you're looking at a really, really good defense. I don't think, even with the home field advantage, I don't think the 12th man is enough to help the Seahawks out here. And Coach Mark has always had that gunslinger mentality. No matter what, he's gonna throw it. One of his favorite things he says throughout his games is, DK's down there somewhere. Having played this guy, trust me, he really believes that, and I don't know how, but it just works out for him.
It's
crazy.
It's Lockett too. Lockett single-handedly hurt the Cardinals in both games. That man just caught heaves, bro. And you're right. The guy's a gunslinger, bro. He just heaves it, and at this point, it's somebody's down there. There's a blue jersey down there. I don't care who it is. We're throwing it up.
He even had like a tight end or a wide receiver throw a game-winning touchdown, didn't he?
Yeah, he ran a double.
Tyler Lockett
Bro,
actually threw
yes.
that.
No,
No.
Tyler Lockett caught it. First play of
Did he?
overtime.
I
Yeah,
thought
it was
he
the
threw
first.
it.
No, it was the first drive of overtime. He did a double pass with the tight end. The tight end threw it to Tyler Lockett. He just ran down the field to the end zone, and that's what I'm saying.
I'm thinking
Before
of the game he beat Cardinals, he actually did the double pass. The
Yeah,
walking off.
that's the one it was. He threw it to Lockett, and I'm like, Lockett first game, he caught the heave in triple coverage. The second game, he walks the Cardinals off on a damn double pass reception, 70 yards down the field. So I mean, hey, screw it. If you're heaving it, go heave it. I mean, it's the last game. You got nothing to lose. You got no Kenneth Walker. We don't blame you for throwing it 60 times this game. The Lions got a good defense though. Lions got a good defense though.
To jump back in it, man, I think, this could either go one of two ways. I think it'll either be a really good game or a really, really one-sided game. Nonetheless, though, I do feel like most of the matchups should be really good. I'm hoping that we get a great game out of this one as well. But like I said, I personally just don't think the 12th man is enough on the field to stop, what the Lions have built this season is remarkable. So I am going to go with the Lions in this one.
Yeah, I played both teams this year, and I think both teams had really good defenses and really good offenses. The only problem with Seattle is like I I still think they have a problem playing a full 40 minutes, whereas the Lions are a little bit more experienced. They have a whole game plan down. They play the whole game. Um, it's going to be a tough game for the Seattle roster. Like, especially without your MVP on the field, I'm not sure how they're going to get it done. I do have faith in them, but I mean, I have more faith in the Lions right now as they are one of the top teams in the NFC. Let's go Detroit, baby.
All right, is Code still there? I know he said he had to
I'm
go.
here.
Okay.
What you got, baby?
Without Kenneth Walker, it's going to be pretty much impossible to win this game. Nothing's impossible, but as close as you can get. If he does want to win this game, though, Darrell Henderson, in the short amount of time that he has played, I think he's averaging like 7.3 yards per carry. I think it's maybe like 25 rushes, so not a big sample size, but you got to go with something. And then, no offense to Beast, but I would not put Geno Smith out there. He hasn't started a game since week 7. You don't make the playoffs and then make a quarterback change with the guy that hasn't played since week 7. So my advice would be keep Sam Howell in there. Run the ball. If that doesn't work, then go back to airing it out, toss it to DK. I don't know how the double pass and the trickery is going to work. Usually, that's not something that you see in the playoffs. That's more of a regular season thing. I'm not sure it's going to translate well in the playoffs if he does go that route. But if he does do a trick play and it works out, that'll probably be like a top 5 playoff moment of all time. It should be a fun matchup, but I am going to go with the Lions.
Well, Codes, just a little comment there. You haven't seen Cleveland Browns football in the playoffs in a while. That's why you don't see trick plays. I mean, I'm taking the Lions. I mean, I don't think there's too much to talk about. No Kenneth Walker, the runner-up for MVP. That changes your offense, dude. I mean, it's not a plug and play with these other guys. I think a high note for Finn right now. He lost that Niners game. It was rough for him. They had a lot of drops. Literally, check the stats, and I think he had 9 drops. But he dominated all season. 2 3-score games. He did split with the Vikings. Vikings had the best season out of anybody. He went 15-2. Finn went 14-3. But his last game was against the Vikings, and they both played starters. I'm not sure what the Vikings were playing for, but there were definitely some starters in there. I know Jay Jettas didn't play, but it is what it is. That's a good win for the Lions to keep the morale up, keep you moving to go into the playoffs, to go play a guy that you did only beat by 4. He might have dominated early, but you still only finished the game by 4. So I think that's huge. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions here.
Side note on that matchup, man. Like,
Couldn't be
I
fun.
don't know who he has chose as his coach name, but that guy is legit Belichick. He don't care. You gonna be suiting up. Get out there.
Yeah.
So I love keeping the starters in, man. I think it's a good decision as far as you don't really want to fall too far out of your norm because then it messes with your rhythm. So I really do appreciate the Belichick mindset there.
Yeah.
So
So we did it for
I would say
the AFC. Just real quick. Vikings NFC favorite Finn to follow.
yes.
hold
Yeah,
on,
I
Cole,
would.
you had some or no?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna comment on that game, the Vikings and Lions. It was pretty impressive because Coach SP actually benched Ryan Tannehill and put Sam Darnold in there, and he still threw for 6 touchdowns, 79%
Oh, you know what he
completion.
did? I did forget
Wow.
that. I looked at that earlier. I couldn't believe he threw six and no picks.
6 and no picks from the backup, and
Crazy.
then Jordan Addison went off for almost 200 yards, and then N'Keal Harry, who converted to tight end, had a crazy game too. So that was impressive.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you have left? If you're finally pulling this off, what else haven't you showed?
Yep.
Exactly. SP
Oh,
Dot's got a bag of tricks. It's crazy.
so yeah, with this side, I mean, man, you got two heavy hitters, and I honestly think it's going to be between the North at this point. So it's
Mm-hmm.
either going to be the Vikings, it's either going to be the Lions. I mean, you could have some guys come through and shake some things up with a good run. I really do like the team the drama has assembled. I really think that keeping a level head offensively, I think he is one of the guys that has the best shot at making a deep run. Um, but I would still lean more towards the North as being the top two favorites coming out of this side over here.
Yeah. We did actually see the Lions and Cowboys. Lions won by 30 in the regular season. One
Yeah,
last one last comment before obviously we sign off because that's the bracket. Um, the shitty part of this, the way we have it lined up, the 2 and the 3 will probably, we chose them to win, and if they do, they play each other, which means we're gonna get Lions Vikings in the divisional round, which it sucks because that's gonna be such a good game that you want it for the NFC. You want that to be the champ game, and
absolutely.
that it really sucks that the way we see it, we predict obviously the Eagles or Giants could win, but the way that we predict it, we're gonna get that game in round 2. That will probably be the most watched game of the season. Um, it just really sucks. We'll get it that early in the playoffs. So
Yeah, that's gonna be a great game. I would like to
Yeah.
make one comment on the favorite. I think the Vikings obviously number one. The Lions are a sneaky number two. But a dark horse for me is that Bucks team. You got Godwin and Evans who won a Super Bowl with Brady. You got Tristan Wirfs who won a Super Bowl. Winfield won a Super Bowl. Levant, like a lot of Super Bowl winning talent on that team, and they were really really hot during the season. Their offense was unstoppable, and then like I said, when he went against really good other coaches that you'd see in the playoffs and things like that, he played way more conservative. He ran the ball. He took what the defense gave him, which is exactly what you need for the playoffs. So we've seen that he can translate into that playoff style football and play really really well. So that's my dark horse at the NFC.
all right.
All righty, Cammy, what you got?
Dark horse. I got Finn's gonna be my dark horse. I think he's that Detroit Lions team. They just look so good on tape, on paper. They like in the office. Everything about that team just screams a dynasty to me. There's
Absolutely, absolutely.
that's all I gotta say.
All righty, fellas. So, again, I appreciate you guys sitting down having a conversation with me. This is not the normal procedures here. This is just the playoff special. Um, again, we're looking at Wednesday, Saturdays for the days you guys come sit down in the locker room with us, have a chat. Tomorrow we will start, episode 1, the actual episode 1, going at it several different topics. Just kind of, sit down, pour your drink, come chat with us. Um, hey, man, every now and then we'll love to throw somebody in. So if you want to have, want to have some FaceTime with us, you let us know. DM anybody that's in here. Codes, Cammy, HD. Get us aware of what you want to do, what you want to talk about, and we'll do our best to get you on. And hey, man, just all positive vibes, man. Trying to keep a healthy environment, and make this league something to make this the norm for the league. Make everybody want to do a podcast, make everybody want to build genuine content and actually have relationships outside of all the extra stuff. So that's the goal here, and we just want to keep it PG, keep it good, and hey, man, everybody have fun.
I guess
Anybody else got anything to add before
Nope.
a
we
final
get out of
note.
here?
A final note for me, I guess, would be be on the lookout during these playoff games. One of us might be in the booth calling the games. Hit us up for that if you'd like to join that. And then, like B said, this is what PMO is about. This is what content is. And if you ever thought about doing content or doing a podcast, this is the perfect time. There's nothing like the playoffs. And then after that, it's free agency, and then the draft. This is the perfect time to, get your feet wet when it comes to content.
Yeah, and I just want to say I'm thankful for the boys that had me on the show today, set this all up. Thank you guys for that. I'm thankful for PML for being, dope hobby for me over the future, and I'm excited to keep this rolling. I hope we can get a lot of cool guests on here.
All right.
All righty, DJ HD.